Welcome to Acquire Knowledge channel. This is part 4 video of our understanding and modeling spring in ANSYS mechanical series. In this video, we will learn about native available elements in Workbench. And in case if those elements are not exposed in mechanical, how we can include those elements using some command snippet. After that, we will also discuss about the difference between the elements and when to use which elements. Finally, we will touch upon how to do post-processing when we are doing defining any element using the command snippet. One thing I also want to highlight that we are not going to touch upon the mathematical formulation or the safe function associated with each elements in the background, but definitely what I will do is that for each element type, I will upload an individual video in which we will discuss in depth about the features, multiple different capabilities, and the mathematical formulation used in the background for these associated elements. So you can see our other videos. So I will put a link once those videos are available. I will put a link in the description. So let's start with this video. So first, the native available elements in the workbench. So Combin 14 and Combin 39 elements can be directly defined inside the mechanical GUI. So let's have a look how we can actually define Combin 14 and Combin 39. So Combin 14 element is the default element in mechanical GUI. So this is one test example that I have built. So in this test example, I will quickly explain what I'm trying to do. So assume that one block is connected to some spring at that some location. So here we can see that what I'm doing is that I'm using some ground to body connection for the spring, and I'm defining some reference location that is actually located at some distance from this surface. So if I put it in the Y direction, so the Z direction, you can see like this one. And on this face, I'm applying some displacement constraint to stretch this spring. So displacement constraint is applied by in plus Y direction. You can see from here, plus Y direction. So I'm applying a 3 mm of displacement. So first of all, whenever you define any spring, so you can directly right click on insert connection, insert, and this spring boundary condition. So once you create this spring, you can see that the by default it is asking for some constant value. So if any as required, so suppose if I give 1,000 and any damping, if you it is required for the simulation, we can do the damping also, and use body to body or body to ground connection. So I will delete this one. So the same thing I had already done in this, just to showcase which element gets created in the background. So if we run the analysis to check which element is getting created, one thing is that you can go to the environment, write the input file, check the dsdat file, associated dsdat file, which got created in the which gets created in the background, to see which element is getting created. Or I can open the solver directly for you. So once the dsdat file is there, okay, so we can open this dsdat file, open with notepad, search for spring. So once we search for spring, we can see this, it is creating combine 14 element when we are using some constant value under the spring connection. Another way is that, quick way is that if the solution is already completed, we can click on the solution, go to home, click on worksheet, material and element type information, and here we can see it's creating combine 14 element. Now another thing is that suppose I want to create combine 39 element, which is actually a nonlinear spring. Now for that, again, you can come back to the longitudinal stiffness option, and suppose in the same thing, if I click on here, I can see there is another option. So when it's constant, it will create combine 14. Suppose if we change it to tabular, then it will create combine 39 element. So let me just show that to quickly show that to you also. So if I unsuppress this one, so this is the same setting, nothing changed. Only thing is that I defined one tabular data. So using the tabular data, I have given some random force values versus deflection curve going from the compression region to tension region. Now, and again, go back to solution, click on worksheet, material and element type information. I can cross check that the combine 39 element is getting created in the background. Now, still there are two element type, combine 37 and combine 40, which is not exposed in the GUI, but we can use the command snippet way to define these elements inside the GUI itself. So let's check this thing also. Now let me delete this one. So I had already added those commands so that I can explain this command whatever I am using. So first let's take an example of combine 40 element. So combine 40 element, if we look at the help manual, combine 40 element is actually your two node element. So in GUI, whenever we are defining a spring, it is also defining a two node element between the reference and mobile selection. So we already have the data for those two nodes. Now what we can do is that we can change the initially defined combine element or the combine 49 element to a combine 40 element because both are two node elements. Now if I go back to, if I right click on the any spring that we define, so if I right click insert commands, now first thing just notice here on top what it actually says. Material type and real number for this spring is equal to the parameter underscore SID. So suppose if we want to access the material number, element type number, and the real constant number associated with this element, we can use underscore SID command to do that. Now, let me get away with this spring. Now, first thing you notice, we already have access to the element type that is associated with by default combine 14 element. What we can do is that we can use the same type to define a combine 40 element. So ET command is actually used to define element type between two nodes. So we can define ET, comma, SID, comma, combine 14. You can also type instead of combine 40, only 40. The APDL will understand that we are trying to define a combine 40 element. Now next thing is that each element type is associated with some key opt options. For example, if we look at the combine 40 element, we can see that there are multiple key opt option available inside for this element. So by default, each key opt option is associated with some behavior. So even though if we are not going to define any key opt option, default conditions will be automatically implemented. Now for this case, another thing I just want to quickly highlight in this video, the element has only 1 degree of freedom at each node and it operates in nodal coordinate system. What it means is that from to which element we are connecting to this in the same operating nodal coordinate system, it is going to apply the spring stiffness and the other associated properties. Now if we look at this geometry, so by default, for any element that we are creating, solid element we are creating in the model, so by default, all nodal coordinate system will be aligned in your global coordinate system. It means that if I am using this surface to define my global coordinates, nodal spring, and if we define, if we keep the option as a default, that is keyopt underscore sid 3 comma 1. So keyopt 3 is actually used to control the degree of freedom, element degree of freedom. Now in this case, the UX degree of freedom will automatically get highlighted. So this is the 0 is the default. So displacement along nodal x-axis. So what it means is that the stiffness is not going to resist any motion in the y direction. Now if we just run this model, so you can see we had given some k values of 77,000, and if we are pulling this, we expect that some force will get generated in the spring. Now if we check the reaction forces, that is force reaction, I can go back to spring and I can use combin 39. I can see that the forces are near to 0. It means that it is not actually transferring any force. Now, what actually happened is that due to the keyopt 3 option, we because now it will resist only the motion in the x direction, not in the y direction. But we want this spring to behave in such a way that it should resist the motion in y direction. This happened because of the way the element gets created internally, because it operates in nodal coordinate system. Now to correct this, what we can do is that if we look at the keyopt 3 again, that is 3. Now what we want to do, we want the degree of freedom to be aligned in y direction, because the y direction resistance should come into picture. So we can go back here and we can simply change it to 3 comma 2. Let's see what happens. Now if we check the reaction forces, so you can see it's coming near to 17,000. Okay, and if you compare those values, it will actually match. So now the things are working as expected. Now you can also see as we are pulling it, some reaction force is getting generated in the opposite direction. So this is one thing that is very important. So if you keep everything as a default, the element will not behave as expected. Now the next thing is that after defining the keyopt, this element requires some real constant. So whatever the properties that we are defining, like a spring stiffness, gap, damping, F slide, so those are defined through the real constant. Now in order to define the real constant, we use R command. Now again, the real constant ID that was associated with this underscore SID, we are using the same. So under R underscore SID, K1, K2, C gap and F slide. So these are the parameters that I am defining to for this stiffness properties, gap and the F slide properties. So in our coming videos, when I'm going to create dedicated video for this element, in that we are going to discuss in detail about all these behaviors. So be tuned for our next video. Now next is that combin 37 element. Now let me suppress this one. So combin 37 element is a little bit unique element because it can be activated and deactivated based upon some control variables. And but the thing is that this element is also your unidirectional element, like it has only 1 degree of freedom and it also operates. So we can see that the combin 37 element, it also operates in the nodal coordinate system, and it has ith node, jth node, and k and l are the control nodes. So if we define this element, means using some e command or e command, so it is actually not 2 node element, but it's a 4 node element. So I will not define this element using some other command way. That is something that we will discuss when we are have a dedicated video on combin 37. But I will just show you, like in some cases what we want to do is that we don't actually want to define some variable in this way, like relative difference or velocity or the acceleration. So what we want to do is that we don't want to simply activate and deactivate element between the load steps. So one way is that for to use a ekill option. Another is that we can directly use combin 37 element and make the element behave like a simple spring damper connection, and use the control variable key opt 1 comma 5. But notice here one thing: when we use control on time value, the k and l are ignored. So what it became, it now became a two node element. Now for two node element, we can modify the spring definition that we are doing in the GUI. So let's go back to the GUI. So I had already defined this one. Now here you can see I'm using the same type that is available for me, underscore SID. And then I'm playing around with some key opt options. So you can check this key opt option in the help. Now, the thing that I want to do is that I want to activate this spring at the end of load step 1 and again switch it off at the end of load step 2. So it means that what I am expecting from this model is that this, whatever the displacement I'm doing, there should not be any resistance from the spring till end of load step 1. After that, this spring will start resisting the motion. Then again in load step 3, there will be no resistance from the spring. So force versus if we look at the force reaction force curve, so it should be zero, near to zero till first load step. Is still, because we are activating and deactivating, so we can keep one sub step as a margin, and again at the end of second load step it will come back to zero. Let's see how it actually goes. And R command is actually used to define the key, stiffness and also the on and off time. Let's solve this model. Okay, now let me show you the reaction forces. So we can see till 0.087 the reaction forces were zero, as we can keep always a margin of one substep, and the substep wing is quite high, that minimum is 2. So if we tighten it, the response will automatically get improved. And also we can see at the end of load step 2, just after the first substep starting from the end of load step 2, it came back to 0. So again the resistance from the spring is gone. So this spring can also be used in this way. So the next thing that I want to cover was difference between the element and when to use. So this is a chart that I created for you that you can keep handy whenever you are trying to use the spring and want to make a judgment based upon your engineering requirement, like which spring is good for your application. For example, if you want to include some nonlinear force versus deflection curve, so only element that will allow is combin 39 element. So okay, I will modify this. I by mistake I kept it as no, but combin 39 element is something that will be helpful for those type of application. Now suppose if you want to apply some preload to the spring, so combin 39 element doesn't support any preload feature. There are ways in which we can actually include the preload, that is multi-step load step analysis, but that is not a part of this video, so I will not cover. But just keep in mind that by default combin 39 element and combin 40 element doesn't support any preload feature. Only thing is that we have to use either combin 14, that's we should linearize the spring, or combin 37 element. Coming to the damping, all of the elements supports the damping. Torsion capability is there for all the elements. Switch on, switch off is only available for your combin 37 elements. Other elements we cannot switch on, switch off. We have to use e-kill feature. Sliding is something like based upon your uh, sliding force, we can mimic the frictional behavior or not. That is something that will be only available for your combin 37 and combin 40 element. Breakable or crushing feature is again available only for 37 and 40. Gap feature is only available for 40 combin 40 element. Now based upon requirement, you might come across a problem statement which will require a combination of multiple properties. So in those cases, what you can do, you can define combination of these elements, like you can define combin 14 element and combin 37 element in parallel. Keep the stiffness of the combin 14 element in such a way that it will not affect the response of 37, and then you can apply a preload to this combin 14 element. So those type of things that you can easily do. Only thing is that you have to use multiple springs in such a way That combination of these springs will mimic whatever is your requirement from the simulation point of view. Next is that how you can post process the element defined using the command snippet. So let's go back to this model again. Now, if we look at this one, what we are doing is that we are defining some combine 37 element. And first thing I will suggest you to do is that go to output control, activate this general miscellaneous results and nodal forces to yes. Okay, now let's clear the generated data, because once we change that, we have to solve the model again. And then meanwhile it's solving, I will just show you. Go to the help manual, combine 37 element, and these are the available quantities that we can extract from using the smisc and nmisc command. So suppose I'm interested in the force. So what I can do is that I can use a user defined result and I can use smisc1. So let's see, I believe it will be solved by this time. So I can go back to here, or better, I can go back to home, worksheet, check the element number associated with it. So it's element type ID4. From here, I will use create user defined results and I will type smisc. Okay, let me type smisc2. Now, if we check this variable, this is a force. So a force is actually a 0 because we are not applying any a force. Let's check this. What is the displacement that is happening at ith node? So ui, so that is nmisc6. So I can check nmisc6. So it's again 0 because we are assuming the ith node as a grounded, but we can check the movement at the mobile location. So and mobile will become your nmisc7. So let's check the value nmisc7. So we can see that for nmisc7 is 3, and we had also applied a 3 mm displacement. So the block is simply moving by 3 mm in the positive direction. So same motion is getting transferred. So in this way you can post process this one. Even if you are planning to use the spring probe, this will actually not work. So you have to only use user defined results looking at this item and the sequence number. So that's all for this video. I hope that this video is helpful for you. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your colleague and friends. That will keep us motivated to make further videos for you. Thank you and have a nice day.